What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Lex Alexis. Today it is the final day of the championship season. It's our final score predictions on this channel. Not been my favorite season, but I tell you what, it has had its moments, and the playoff picture on the final day could make things very interesting, as 5th and 6th place still need to be decided within this final set of games. Obviously, guys, as well, this is your final chance to enter your score predictions in the comments down below, because after this game week will be the end of the prediction leagues as well. If you want to see the updated standings, make sure you check the latest community tab, but there's still a lot to play for in that as well, so should be a very exciting weekend for all of us here. If you guys like what you see, please give the video a like. It just tremendously up the channel. Please do hit the subscribe button if you're not done so. We're nearly at 1,100, which would be amazing if we can get there as soon as we can. Please also share this channel to as many people as you can, especially if you want to see more championship content on this channel. But without any further ado, let's start predicting what I think will happen in this weekend's games. So the first game to predict is Birmingham and Blackburn. This is one of the few games that really serves no purpose, nothing to play for at all with both of these teams at the moment. And the reason that both these teams have had, you could say a disappointing season on their part for different reasons, is their form in 2022. Both of them are almost like teetering just above the relegation zone when it comes to form in 2022, 20th and 21st place respectively between these two teams. That's not really good, considering Blackburn before 2022 were within 2 points of getting into the automatic promotion place. They've had quite the decline, and it has seen Blackburn having Tony Mowbray's final game in this game confirmed. We could even see Lee Bowyer's final game as well for Birmingham, as there's been a lot of rumours being speculating about his future. That's definitely been getting more intensified as far as the weeks goes. I mean, 47 points Birmingham have got, really. It's not been a great season, I've got to say. But I'll be interested to know from Birmingham firms themselves, what did you make of Lee Bowyer in the 2 years that he has been managing your team? This game, I mean, it's difficult to find an edge, really. It just depends which team turns up on the day. I know Blackburn very recently really turned up away from home, but they had something to play for. Now they don't have something to play for. Will they turn up? I think they may get the win just with the added attacking quality. I'm going to go for a 3-1 away victory to Blackburn. FIFA has gone for a 2-0 Birmingham win. Couldn't be any different. Next game is Bournemouth versus Millwall. Now this is a game that could serve a great importance. And following the events that happened in, midweek, it really plays into Millwall's hands here, especially with, the Fulham Luton result. Millwall can now compete with Luton with their goal difference. But with Bournemouth now getting the job done, getting promoted back to the Premier League, so congratulations to them. I did a live stream and watch along on Bournemouth versus Nottingham Forest, especially second half. You wouldn't complain that Bournemouth definitely were the better team and did deserve it. Definitely controversy from Forest, being denied what looked like a blatant penalty in the first half there, and that could have really changed the dynamics, considering when they did go one goal up against Fulham, their game management was fantastic, managing to keep it to a 1-0 scoreline. But based on the second half performance, as I just said, they can't complain. That I think Bournemouth did deserve it. But the fact that now Bournemouth are up, they're definitely confirmed second place. They don't have any pressure in this game. They could definitely rotate in the squad. They could still be in party mode as well. And Millwall could pounce on this and find a big opportunity, because there is still everything to play for Millwall as well. So they definitely need to win, and there's no option there. They have to win this game and hope that results go their way. They're going to have to hope that Sheffield United don't win their game. They're going to have to hope that Luton do not pick up a single point against Reading, and they're going to have to hope that Middlesbrough do not win against Preston either. So we're going to need a lot to go their way, but they can definitely make things very interesting if they pick up a win. But on the road, they've been pretty poor. 17th place they are in the form table in terms of away record, with only 5 away wins all season. Contrasting that with their home form, they're actually second place in terms of the most home wins picked up this season. So Millwall would definitely prefer this game to be at the Den. But as a prediction, I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I just have that feeling. Even Bournemouth may rotate. I think with Millwall's poor away form balanced with that, I think it'll be a draw. But I actually would not be surprised to see Millwall pick up a result. And FIFA is actually predicting a 2-1 away win to Mill, which is what I was very close to predicting to, but we'll see what happens. But ultimately, that will not be enough for Mill to get into the top 6. Next game to predict is Derby versus Cardiff. Once again, a game that's not much to play for, honestly. Derby, of course, confirming their relegation. But for what I will say, they picked up a fantastic win over Blackpool. And definitely with a good result there, they could definitely confirm, being in 22nd place and definitely will not be overtaken by Peterborough on the final day. They've definitely done enough to get past Barnsley at this point. And I think there's a good relationship going around with the supporters, with the players at the moment. They definitely brought a good amount of sound when they did beat Blackpool. So I think this is going to be an interesting encounter. Cardiff away from home have been very touch and go. They've not scored many away goals recently either. They've only scored, I think, 2 away goals in their last 6 away games, so it's not been an encouraging run of form for Cardiff's front. They are currently 19th place in the table and really in a poor run of form as well. 4 defeats and 1 draw in their last 5 games. So they definitely would want the season to end. They will definitely want to have a bit of a reshuffle. As a prediction here, I think Derby may edge this one. I think definitely if Wayne Rooney introduced some more young players who are hungry to be in the first team, I think that will just about do it. I'm going to edge Derby for a 2-1 home win, and FIFA is doing a 2-1 away win to Cardiff. Next game to predict is Huddersfield versus Bristol City. So there's a tiny bit to play for in this game. So Huddersfield definitely confirmed their place in the top 6, but following events with Bournemouth beating Nottingham Forest, they definitely cannot get automatically promoted anymore. But if they better Nottingham Forest's results, because the goal difference is quite different between Huddersfield and Nottingham Forest. But if they do better Forest's result, let's say they draw and Huddersfield win, then Huddersfield could be up to 3rd. But they wouldn't really know who they could be dealing with in terms of, if you finish 3rd or 4th, who you're going to get. Because obviously 5th and 6th are still, in most teams' hands at the moment. There could be up to 4 teams who could get 5th and 6th place. So it's going to feel quite unpredictable, but it really just depends how high Huddersfield want to finish up the table. If they really want to try and get 3rd place, go for it. And they've gone through a great unbeaten run as well. But so Bristol City, they're unbeaten in their last 5. And they have been scoring a lot more goals very, very recently as well. I think their forward players, Semenyo and Vyman, have done really, really well recently. Chris Martin scored 2 goals in their last game as well. Something tells me I think we'll get a load of goals in this game. But I think I'm still going to edge it to Huddersfield's way. I'm going to go for a 3-2 home victory to Huddersfield. FIFA's gone for a 1-1 draw. Next game to predict is Hull versus Nottingham Forest. Now, once again, similar to the Huddersfield game, tiny bit riding on this game, especially if Forest do want to finish in 3rd. So it will be playoffs for Nottingham Forest after they could not beat Bournemouth in midweek. And it's going to be 3 consecutive playoff campaigns for Steve Cooper. And he's going to have to see if he can overcome his playoff curse. Obviously, the first time in the playoffs he got knocked out semis, second time he got knocked out in the final. So if you follow the pattern, maybe this could be the time where Steve Cooper can finally triumph the playoffs. But it's going to be very interesting to see who they play up against, because there's so many different teams in the way that they play as well. So they're definitely going to have to be very versatile with their style of play. Hull could potentially be a difficult game because they actually have won their last 2 home games. I know recently they've actually conceded 5 against Bristol City though, so that can definitely send them back down to earth as well. It's interesting, but I do think Forest have got enough to carry themselves with a win, but I don't think by many. I think away from home recently, even when I'm thinking of other games, I know they beat Fulham very well, but only by 1 goal scoreline. They beat Peterborough away from home recently, but by 1 goal scoreline as well. And I think I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to do a narrow 1-0 away win to Nottingham Forest. FIFA's gone for a 1-0 Hull win. Next game to predict is Luton versus Reading. Now this, I think, is probably the biggest game in terms of the final match day, because Luton right now are in a very precarious position. Obviously, Luton got absolutely demolished by Fulham, losing to 7 goals to 0. We did a watch along in that game as well. And it did look like the squad was very threadbare thin, and they were just chucking players on just to try and cover some gaps up, really. And I was a little bit concerned the way Nathan Jones tried to approach the game and the manner that Luton lost that game as well. It's going to be interesting to see how well Luton can bounce back from this. But against a Reading side where actually Reading have got a much better record against Luton. So it could be a banana skin game, but theoretically on paper, Reading's the perfect game to play. They're 21st, you know, right now they've not got anything to play for, and they've not managed to win in the last 3 games either. Since securing their survival, they've actually not won a single point. So Luton could look at this as an advantage, but the attacking players that Reading have got can make things very dangerous, and I think that back line from Luton is definitely going to be a bit exposed, and I think the injuries have caught up with them, so they've got to be very, very careful. But they've got to at least make sure that they get at least a point, but that point may not be enough for them anymore, especially if Middlesbrough beat Preston in their game, because their goal difference now is worse than Middlesbrough's. So Luton really need to win this game to guarantee a place in the top 6. And I have a sneaky feeling, despite the injuries that they got, I think they may hop over the line here. I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win to Luton, and Fifa's gone for a 0-0 draw. Next game to predict is Peterborough versus Blackpool, a game which I looked at the very, start of when we got our fixture list thinking this could be a relegation 6-pointer in the final day, but clearly it wasn't to be. Peterborough were down, a couple of weeks ago, and Blackpool really defied the odds and really had a great season, all things considered, for what they were expected to do in this season as well. And it's an interesting one. I think Peterborough has slightly improved with Grant McCann going in. He's definitely going to be looking after this game and trying to put a positive spin on things, and I definitely would want to try and bounce back, especially from League One. And I definitely think if they keep most of their players, they do have the capability of doing that. Blackpool on their day, they can definitely perform, but I do think they've been on the beach, Blackpool, for quite some time, and I think that could definitely affect their momentum for this game. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I've not predicted many draws. FIFA is also going to agree with me. Next game to predict is Preston versus Middlesbrough. Now, this is another game I'll be keeping my really close eye on, because Middlesbrough really need to win. They have to win, and hope that results go their way as well, because of course they're chasing after Luton and Sheffield United. They're definitely going to need one of the two to drop points. Luton, as I said, being at home to Reading, so potential banana skin, but definitely in Luton's hands and can definitely get a good win there. Sheffield United got a tough game against Fulham, so they could definitely be looking at Sheffield United and thinking, okay, can I overtake them? And they'll be hoping they can beat Preston by quite a scoreline as well, because their goal difference is very, very close, of course. So at this moment of time, it's plus 14 for Sheffield United and plus 12 for Middlesbrough as well. But goals scored as well, they're only separated by 1 goal either. So let's say Middlesbrough win by 1-0 against Preston and Sheffield United lose 1-0 against Fulham. They will actually have the same goal difference and the same number of goals. And what will happen after that is then they'll look at head-to-head records, and Sheffield United, because they beat Middlesbrough quite emphatically quite recently, didn't they, at Bramall Lane, they will go over the top 6 over Middlesbrough. So theoretically, they're going to have to hope that Sheffield United lose by quite a bit. They're going to have to win by quite a bit, of course, to definitely confirm it as well, but definitely hope that results go their way. And against this Preston team, I mean, they had a great response against Barnsley, but I think picking up a victory against Barnsley is not really anything to be bragging about, especially with the fact they've only picked up 30 points this season. I think Middlesbrough will edge this with the extra impetus or something to play for. I'm going to go 2-1 Middlesbrough. Beaver's gone 0-0. It's going to make things very tight in the top 6, I'll tell you that. And it leads perfectly to my prediction of Sheffield United versus Fulham. Now, I've definitely been giving Sheffield United, a lot of bashing, thinking, okay, they're definitely going to be the underdogs playing against this Fulham team that have scored 7 past Luton Town. But something tells me that Fulham, at times, when they've had those games, they do take their foot off the gas. And at home, Sheffield United have actually got the best clean sheet record and the best defence at home as well, with only 15 goals conceded at Bramall Lane. And with their clean sheet record, they've actually picked up 4 home clean sheets in their last 6 games. So it's definitely going to be not an easy task for Fulham to get something here. They would have to be very focused. And if Fulham are still going to be on party mode after wrapping up the championship title by beating Luton in midweek, Sheffield United can really pounce on this. They know Sheffield United, if they win, they've done it. In fact, even a draw would almost guarantee their place. They'll then just have to hope that Middlesbrough don't beat Preston by a big scoreline. So that definitely could be enough, but for some reason, this feels like a game that I think Sheffield United can perform. They had a really good win recently against QPR under the pressure, and I think they'll perform again. I'm going to say there's not many goals. I'm going to say a 1-0 home win to Sheffield United, and that will definitely secure them top 6. FIFA has gone for a 1-1 draw, which was going to be my alternative prediction. Next game to predict is Stoke versus Coventry, a game with not much to play for. Two very different seasons, but they're both in a mid-table position. Stoke would feel this season that they've underperformed with the squad that they've got and the manager that they've got, and injuries, halting their progress. But for Coventry, they'd feel absolutely ecstatic in this position in 11th place. And actually with a really, really good result, they could potentially finish in the top 10, of course. They're going to have to hope for results to go their way, of course. But the highest that Coventry can finish is 10th place, which would be an unbelievable achievement for Coventry to receive that achievement there. Stoke have just been patchy with their form throughout the season, and it's been a continuous habit with them. And it's difficult to see how are they going to move going forward, but with Coventry, they'll be feeling very optimistic. Mark Robins has signed a new deal as Coventry manager, which I think would make Coventry fans very, very happy. And I think he has put Coventry in an upwards trajectory as well. We're just going to have to see if he can take a step up and potentially even push Coventry even higher up the table. As a prediction, I think they may cancel each other out. I think Stoke at home are better away. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Beaver's gone 2-2 draw. Next game to predict is Swansea QPR. Once again, not much to play for anymore. I think definitely Swansea will be looking to try and get a response after conceding 5 goals against Nottingham Forest. And I think against this QPR side, which will definitely be feeling very down, because if you heard recently, they are letting go of 6 players, including the likes of Lee Wallace and Charlie Austin. So their squad's definitely going to be completed, and it's going to be Mark Warburton's final game in charge as QPR manager as well. So there's going to be a lot of sadness brewing in QPR. And I think Swansea, based on how well they've been at home, especially with the amount of goals that they scored quite recently, it's a shame that their players have actually, not been able to score these many goals, later on into the season, or earlier on, I should say, because I definitely think Swansea would have had a really good opportunity to get up there. They scored 4 against Reading, scored 3 against Bournemouth, but they've got a nagging inconsistency in terms of keeping the lead. But I do think they'll win this game against QPR pretty comfortably, in my opinion. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to Swansea. Beaver's gone for another 2-2 draw. And the final game to predict in this championship season, believe it or not, is West Brom versus Barnsley. Once again, a bit similar to Peterborough and Blackpool. I looked at this game as the final game of the season thinking, oh my gosh, it could be a reuniting of Ishmael playing against his former club, especially if Barnsley are having a great season, or West Brom potentially, will need to win to secure automatics. But both have really underperformed for what I thought they were going to do this season, which doesn't make me excited to look at my table predictions, which I'll be doing very, very soon. But West Brom definitely, I think with the experience, the players that they got, I think they can limp themselves over the line. Barnsley have just really been disappointing this season, and with their away form as well, only one away win they picked up all season too. I just don't really see Barnsley having enough in this game. They'll end the season on 30 points, which is actually the 4th lowest points tally out of any team ever in the Championship, which is not great for Barnsley. I'm going to go for a 2-0 West Brom win. Fever's gone for a dull 0-0 draw. So guys, these are my predictions finished for this championship season. I cannot believe it. Another season about to end after Saturday. I will be doing a live watch along with all the games taking place, so make sure guys you see that. I will be streaming Sunderland against Sheffield Wednesday in the League 1 playoff semi-final leg 1 tonight as well, so keep your eyes on that. A lot of streams coming up. And guys, if you're wondering, on the left hand side of the screen are my Premier League predictions. So guys, make sure you comment those in the comments down below as well, as I'll be very interested to hear your predictions too. But it's been a really, really fun year of Championship football. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel this year. If you've really enjoyed it, please give the video a like, it just tremendously help. If you want to see more content for next year in Lex Alexa for the Championship, please hit that subscribe button. It's the best way that you're going to get to my content as quickly as possible. And please share this channel because it's free to do and it really helps the growth of this channel. But that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary at the end of this video. And as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.